Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game. When we last left off, our heroes were on their way to the village of Kalinka to save it from the eventual wrath of Grandis. To get there, they are going to have to sail across the sea with the help of Admiral William and his ship. Unfortunately, Admiral William and his ship went missing during the Battle for Naraka, a situation that has left poor Paprika all distressed. And understandably so, the two are really close. Thankfully, our heroes have managed to cheer her up, with promise that she will be one day reunited with the Admiral. Everyone? Thank you all for being here for me. Although I am a little embarrassed for you to have seen my tears. Tiny laugh. Don't worry about it. We've always known that girls are simply supposed to be funny creatures like that. I mean, he's not wrong. Teehee. But you have done much to lift my spirits, and for that I am grateful. Please allow me to give you something in return that might be of help to you. And what might that be? Paprika takes out a strange object that was wrapped around her neck but hidden from view beneath her clothes all this time. A lot of the magical powers that I still possess are concentrated within this pendant. I believe it may have been the sole reason that a little girl like myself had the capacity to cast such a grandiose spell as the one I cast to try to save you all from Gorgon back then. It is a truly unique relic that Serena herself gave to me on the day I was born, and in all of the many centuries that I have lived on this planet, I have kept it preciously close to me and never allowed it out of my sight. But if I can do anything to help the four heroes of Earth in saving our beloved Elvania, then I will gladly and humbly entrust the pendant to their care. Indeed, my personal security is a most significant price to pay. Paprika, are you sure? You said that you've never let go of this treasure in your entire thousands of years of life. Can you really? Yes, it makes me glad to be able to sacrifice something for the well-being of my friends. Besides, I think that the goddess would have wished for me to give this upon to you too. You know, it occurs to me that there is still music playing. It's just really quiet right now. Received Paprika's leyline pendant, an accessory for Harrison only. This was apparently the pendant that was granting her the ability to use that spell against Gorgon Ghidra during the Battle for Naraka. Although it wasn't really strong enough, so I'm really curious what this accessory will do for us. Harrison gets a closer look. What is it exactly? Much of my powers are founded on the Terra elements, and the pendant is what brings those powers forth from an astral to a tangible form. If someone with Terra-based magical abilities, such as you, Mr. Harrison, wears it, then it should be of significant value in protecting you from spells of similar make that your enemies might use. Ooh, that sounds good. I appreciate it, Paprika. This really does mean a lot to us. Yeah, really, thanks. I and my kind were made to look after all races that would come into Elvania after us, and it is my joy to do so. Michiru, Solus Emzu Goddess of Perseverance, you take care of Mr. Harrison, okay? I will. Uri ruffles Paprika's hair. You know something, kid? The more times our paths cross, the more you really do seem to become like a mother than the little 7 or 8-year-old girl we first assumed you to be. Paprika smiles. Now then, you four must go on to protect your friends in Kalinka. I will pray that you can find a way there in time somehow. You will be able to save them. I just know that you will. Did we mention that to her? I don't remember if we did. And, Mr. Dusk, if you sense that your Sarah is in trouble, then you just run right to her rescue. In her heart, she is counting solely on you. Dusk turns red. Yes, ma'am. Paprika prays. Uri, everyone, you are within my heart. Always. So where do we go from here, then? Huh. Well, first things first. We got this thing. Let's equip it. Harrison, the Leyline Pond. 50% resistance to terror-based attacks. So as long as it's an attack that does not have an element tied to it, it's going to cause a lot less damage. It's a bit of a shame to unequip the Platina Glove, but, well, Harrison has a strong weapon anyway. Speaking of equipment, I forgot about some of this, or rather, this one thing that I got from that boss fight earlier. What is it? Well, I could probably find out right here. The Cresta Bangle. Oh! It's same sort of a thing here. Ice resistance, 50%. Who would I want to give that to? Do I really want to get rid of one of these jeweled bands? I mean, it would give something else for... Oh wait, if it's Ice Elemental, that means it's probably something that only Lyn can equip, right? Yep. Well, heck yeah, we're giving it to him. Meanwhile, Uri has such an equipment as well. Also, after that last boss fight from earlier, we did learn some new stuff, so probably check on what that is. So Lyn got a new spell. Deluge Wand, it seems. 86 damage against a single enemy. And Harrison also learned Sheep Beam. Aw, I was hoping that was a sleep attack. It doesn't seem like our characters actually learn any status affliction spells. Aside from Uri, who learned instant death. So for 11 MP, we can lower agility of enemies by 8. You know, I could actually see that being useful. If we need to emergency heal everybody, lowering agility might be good to be doing. They also learned a couple of techs. Lyn has learned Hamedo? For 15 HP, you can boost guard by 20. That is actually a really nice boost. And Harrison, for 16 HP, can use Rage, which boosts somebody's attack by 16. Okay, those are good. Those are definitely good. Now, back to the question of where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Actually, first things first, I'm curious what happens if we go back into North Arath. We can actually explore it. That's interesting. Didn't think we'd be able to do that. Okay, quote-unquote explore. I forgot that this map is designed in a way that you can't actually walk off the path. And we can't talk to you. Hey, what's up here? A statue. Breasts. Naked lady. Artsy fartsy. That sort of thing. Is this Bella's? That's Bella's. Am I supposed to come back here? If so, I feel really bad because I don't remember the reason we were told to come back here. but it's the only place that we have the option of going to. Huh? You've come back. Is everything alright? Well, I suppose if we need to get across the water, Bliss does have the one thing that allows us to do that. No, not at all. We need your help, Bliss. Old Man Willie and his friends are gone. There is no one at the pier. Bliss has a downward expression on his face. Oh man, that's not good. Do you know what happened to them? Or are they all just still in Naraka, taking care of the wounded and things like that? I wish it were that simple an explanation for their absence. We ran into Paprika when we stopped to rest momentarily in Wraitha village, and she was alone. She said that one of those two demons who'd led that first attack some months ago in the Leviathan fleet had reappeared on Rosalina at some point during the fight at Boesca's Lake, and apparently caused it to sink. I remember saying something like that just before I pulled out of the fight and asked for Her Majesty's permission to take Paprika's boat and a few Elmina birds to go rescue you from across islands. But because of my present worry for what had happened to you all, I just tried not assume the worst concerning the Rosalina. I guess it turned out that the man Paprika thought she saw was the one responsible for William and his friends dropping out of the battle. Paprika was really upset, naturally, but we managed to restore her confidence that it is entirely possible that Willie and the rest are still alive, wherever they are, and so she chose to stay and wait faithfully in Wraitha for them. She should be alright by herself. You kind of think of it, it's a bit of a shame we didn't actually get to explore more than the fountain of Wraitha. By the way, I saw somebody just follow me. I didn't catch your name, but thanks for the follow, and I hope that I do not disappoint. Enjoy my stuff here. And also this game. It is a good game. I am glad about that. But now that presents a dire problem for you. You cannot find a way back to Lelia, and you were already losing on time as it was, not knowing when Grandis is going to reach Kalinka. Yes, this is really bad. We must save our friends in Kalinka, yet we've apparently no way of heeding their cry for help, nor can we even know of what time remains before it will be too late. What are we to do? Please don't panic. I understand your feelings, kid, but no matter what, it never helps anything to lose control of yourself. Melissa's thinking, I guess it wouldn't do any good to ask for help from the Holy City, since the only ships ever made there were the ones used in the Leviathan fleet, and now every last one of those ships are sunk down to the bottom of the mid-ocean except for the Rosalina. Besides, everyone in Naraka is no doubt pulling all of their time and strength right now to get their lives back to normal after having to endure the horror of that battle. And they are no doubt depressed enough as it is to be dealing with so many of their knights having died, without having to hear of yet another part of Elenia now being under the threat of destruction as they had been. And so, when Naraka is being unable to help, you guys came back to me in hopes that I might be able to think of a way. Well, all I can do is try. Look, despite the pressure of time, you four have been aimlessly running through northern Sibyline Reef for nearly 2 days now. You must stay here for the night and get the proper rest, or else I would have reason to be concerned for your general health. There is nothing you will be able to do until I can think of something to get you and Kalinka out of this mess regardless. Dusk lowers his head with a resigned sigh. Alright. Brian, what will we do if we can't save Kalinka in time? We managed to keep the Holy City from being destroyed by them, but Can we possibly be so lucky a second time with Kalinka? Uri. Miss Aries? Yes, little one? Dusk looks northwest towards Lelia. Do you think that I can save her? Is there any chance at all of stopping that demon? Aries says, with her voice quiet with somber gravity, Grandis Marwyn is a luminous Elrune knight, my dear child. I cannot lie to you and say that protecting the girl you love from him will be easy. But you four have successfully protected your friends from worse evil in the past. After all, you've twice escaped Gorgon's clutches and saved Paprika from a deranged sword spirit, right? Wink. Dusk smiles. Then I will try not worry. I guess there really is a chance that we'll see a happy ending to this predicament. Sarah, everyone, please just hang on until we can come save you. Hey, what are you up to there, Lynn? Huh? Oh. Well, to tell the truth, Charmies, I was trying to see if I could use my magical powers to get a hold of Josh back in our homeworld somehow. Your brother? Are we talking about figurative brother or literal brother? 'Cause, oh boy, just wait until he finds out what his brother is up to. That other boy amongst your group of friends who never made it to Elvania? Yeah. I was so certain that it was Josh whom was that fourth hero that Uri, Dusk, and I would have to go searching in Elvania for, as Lisa's diary prophesied. After all, it was Josh who lived in the house in Magnolia with me and Featherbrain while the three of us were trying to make it through college. And it was Josh who was that fourth for poker every time we hung out at the crib on Wednesday nights. Sigh. Who would have guessed that it was Harrison, of all our friends, whom we'd end up finding lost in Elvania? I guess you really miss your brother and everyone else who loved you back in your own world, huh? Yeah. I guess the people of this world and their ways, how they live their lives, are kind of starting to change me. You know what I mean? I am your guardian angel, remember? Of course I know. You think I have not been able to tell the change in your ideals and behavior that you are beginning to assume? You very rarely ever took things seriously in your life on the Earth, except for when it came to your ambitions of fame and power. Getting ahead of everyone else seems to be a foremost wish of the heart in many human earthlings, doesn't it? It is such things that have led them all to blatantly selfish natures and so forth other forms of evil, turning their entire world as a whole away from the light that once alone existed. Sigh. Is there a single soul left on Earth who is even aware that heaven and a goddess exist anymore? Well, you're half right. Sorry, kiddo. I didn't mean to be accusing. Nah, it's cool. When I think about how much the other three seem to look up to and aspire to be more like the Elvanians, who are simpler creatures but ceaselessly kind and loyal, so it seems, I think you may be right in what you say. I guess I simply have to keep at this little adventure we're on and find out the truth for myself through my own learning, huh? And now it's gotten really dark. How's it look in the stream here? Yep, it is visible. Okay, so as a reminder, this is not my first time streaming this game. The first time was a bit of a failure on my own part. When I came to this scene in the original, the first time playing, this scene right here, oh boy. You couldn't see anything. Both my TV and the capture device that I was using at the time, this scene, you couldn't see anything. I had to max out the brightness on my capture device in order to see this. And, needless to say, both of the game creators were kind of annoyed by this, considering they made this game on a TV where the scene was definitely visible. So, good news, now the scene is visible for this playthrough. Dang it. Why can't I just stop worrying about this whole thing? What good will any of this do for our friends in Kalinka? And why am I making it so much my own concern anyway? Shouldn't... Ballis rubs sleep out of his eyes. Yawn. Can't sleep, kid? I don't suppose so. Otherwise, I would have been able to zonk right out like those other three guys over there. Right? Kalinka? Yeah, I think so. That's understandable. I know how much in desperation you all must be right now. The Klinkans certainly would be too, if they knew who was making his way towards their home as we speak. Which is why I've been by myself all this time trying to think of a way to get you guys back to the North Continent. I know it must be terribly frustrating for you to realize the great danger that your friends are in, yet be helpless to be able to do anything to help them at the moment. Yeah, by the way, what about that boat that we were using in order to get us away from the ogres? Won't that help? Maybe the island is not as far out to sea as I thought it was, compared to the northern continent. Harrison says in a purely serious tone. Ballis, would you come with us and help us fight Grandis? Sigh. I'll admit that I cannot begin to guess at this guy's strength, since I wasn't there with the other three during either of the 2 times that they have already fought him, but... I just want to make certain we have every edge possible that we can get before confronting him, and I just don't want to let Kalinka down. If I can possibly help it, everyone there has done a lot for me, you know? It really wasn't just Lyle and his daughter, but I think that pretty much everyone in Kalinka was standing behind me in finding a way to cure the... illness that the Dark Lord's servants had afflicted me with, and I was a complete stranger to them at the time. For the sake of leaving a surprise for anybody wanting to play the game, I will not mention what that illness was. Yes, I understand. Even though you sort of became involved into this whole struggle to save Elenia by accident, and consequently did not really understand the dire meaning of it all, you simply can't help but feel as though you owe something back to the Kalinkans in particular for the kindness they showed in doing what they did specifically to help you, and that is why their being in danger weighs far more heavily upon you than it normally would. Here, Ballis draws out his axe and holds it up before him, studying its blade. I myself have been friends with the Winters family and the rest of Kalinka for many years, and I had a very strong sense of loyalty and regard for the Holy Priestess. It was she who'd taken my dwarven brethren over in the south part of Sibyline Reef under her wing a few years ago when the relations between ourselves and the humans and elves of Nalia and the Yuzuki region had begun to grow standoffish. So of course I would want to come with you to help protect Kalinka. Well, that was just an interesting fact we just learned. Considering this world has not had any wars in the past, it is interesting that it came close to a war between races just a few years ago. Lord knows I've had my share of dealing with monsters in the past, being a traveling weapons master. But still, you have an obligation to Naraka, its being your former home. We understand. Yes. Despite my skill, I doubt I would be anywhere near a match for a Lunas Elru knight like you for either. I would only get in your way. And then likely get myself killed. I couldn't blame you for being afraid to confront a Lunas Elru knight either. Just one thing I gotta know though. How were you able to tell all of that about me, about the feelings I possessed at first when I came to join up with the others on their journey? Bolas smiles. Comes from being around an elven female so much for the last several months. Women such as Tessera are especially intuitive, and even a dwarf like myself is influenced by her ways if he's been her traveling partner long enough. Sigh. What is it, dude? You look as if you want to tell me something. Bolas is startled. What? Oh, it's nothing. As the prim and proper Michiru would have said, your face betrays your evasive words. So, out with it. Bolas quietly says, I am in love with Tessera. Ooh. This is certainly an interesting tidbit. Let's go ahead and head into a break right now. And when we come back, we'll go ahead and possibly find out more about this. Anyway, just real quick, hello in the chat, X-Ninja and the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh is asking, is that a game you have created yourself? No, this is actually a game created by a couple of friends of mine, Lantis and Sarah's Knight. I am doing this playthrough for them as a favor. If you are interested in trying this game yourself, I will go ahead and provide a link to it right here. It is created with RPG Maker 1 on the first PlayStation, and therefore getting it downloaded and played is a bit of a trick. I have provided instructions in that link in how you would be able to play it. I recommend emulating, on account that in order to play this, you actually need a copy of RPG Maker 1, and that's kind of hard to find. I believe only 100,000 or so copies of RPG Maker 1 was ever sold, so kind of a rare game, actually. Definitely recommend emulating. So X-Ninja in the stream chat says, apparently RPG Maker 1 sells for cheap on eBay. I found a listing for $8.88. Huh. $8.88. That's definitely cheap. Well, RPG Maker 1 may not be very common, but it's also not very much in demand. I will say, by the way, before you decide to go buying it, you will also need a transfer device in order to play it, assuming that you play it on an actual PlayStation. Otherwise, I suppose there's always the option of, still emulating it. It's possible to emulate it with a physical disc as well as a downloaded file. Definitely a trick to play these games, which is why I play them a lot of the times. A chance to show off these games that not many people have the opportunity to play. Anyway, I need a break, so, yep, we're going on a break.